I'm just finding out.
Is it fair?
Are you hearing this? Tell them to talk now.
I'll eat your news.
I did this one is position well.
No, this one is okay.
Later, we'll discuss
Yeah. About what?
about your going home yesterday. Just relax your mind. You'll do your work later. It's secretly something that we discuss. I don't release it to anybody. You are my friend.
Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I'm Charles Pius. In the headlines, EFCC seeks deeper collaboration with police. Abia North PDP vows to reposition the party ahead of the 2027 elections. UN Chief hails Pope Francis as transcendent voice for peace. And Ukraine ready for talks on accords to halt attacks on civilian targets. Details shortly. The Director of Investigations, Economic and Financial Crimes, EFCC, Abdulkarim Chukwu, has called for deeper collaboration between officers of the Commission and the Nigerian Police Force. He made the call in Abuja while on a courtesy visit to the Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, FCT Command, Saka Adewale Alao. Chukwu, who was accompanied on the visit by the Acting Director, Abuja Zonal Directorate, Michael Wetkas, said the essence of the visit was to smoothen any work-related friction or misconception that may arise between operational and tactical officers of both law enforcement agencies. He noted that the success stories of the EFCC over the years have a direct bearing with collaboration with the police. While appreciating the CP for receiving him and his entourage, Chukwu said that though the journey ahead was arduous, he was certain the new CP was equal to the task, going by his good track record. In his response, CP Alao appreciated the director and his team for the visit, noting that the strength of law enforcement was in synergy and strategic collaboration at the different levels to effectively deal with crimes. He further assured the team of his collaboration. Law enforcement agencies in Enugu State have echoed their unwavering support to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in its bids to tackle economic and financial crimes and other acts of corruption in the southeast. The support came when the Acting General Director of the Enugu Zonal Directorate of the EFCC, Assistant Commander of the EFCC, ACI Aisha Abubakar, paid courtesy visit to the Commander of Narcotics, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Enugu State Command Sunu Wadahi Abel, Comfort Opana, Customs Area Controller, Enugu Anambra Ebonyi Commands, Franklin Abakoba, Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Enugu, Priska Choma Oku, Controller of Corrections, Nigerian Correctional Service, Enugu, and Dr. Willie Elijah Etim, Commandant, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. During her visit, Abubakar, who said that the fight against money laundering has assumed disturbing and alarming dimensions in the Southeast, noted that as part of the core values of the Commission, the EFCC collaborates with its stakeholders in line with its mandate. She called for a more synergized partnership to enable the two agencies to achieve more success. While calling for effective intelligence sharing, Abubakar sought for joint operations between the two agencies in order to tackle the menace of money laundering and put a stop to illegal dealing in narcotics in the Southeast, adding that there is no better time to strengthen the synergy than now. Responding, Wada, he appreciated the actions of the director for the visit and also pledged his support for the commission towards actualizing its mandates. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has denied media reports on the concession for the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu. In a statement signed by his special advisor on media and communications, Tunde Moshood, on Monday, Keyamo described the report as untrue. He said that even though the government was considering concessions and had received proposals from various interested companies, no conclusion had been reached on the matter. The minister noted that many of the airports in the country are operating at a loss and have to be subsidized monthly by the government, which he said has reinforced the need for concessions as a proactive measure to ensure that the facilities can meet and maintain international standards. He said that all submitted proposals are currently undergoing thorough evaluation and will eventually be reviewed by the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, before being presented to the Minister for onward transmission to the Federal Legislative Council for approval. Meanwhile, Abia State government has debunked what it described as false and misleading claims surrounding the compensation process for landowners affected by the acquisition of land for the proposed Abia State Airport project. In a firm and detailed statement issued by the Commissioner for Lands and Housing, Chaka Chukwumerije, the government categorically refuted allegations suggesting irregularities in the ongoing compensation process. According to the Commissioner, some false reports had claimed that the ministry was appointing attorneys for landowners and deducting compensations without consent. He clarified that the Ministry of Lands and Housing does not, under any circumstance, appoint attorneys or compel any landowner to engage a specific estate valuer. The Commissioner emphasized that it is solely the constitutional right of each claimant to choose whether or not to use legal or professional representation in processing their compensation. Furthermore, Chukwumerije stressed that 100% of the approved compensation is paid directly to each rightful claimant unless the individual has voluntarily appointed an attorney through a formal agreement. In such cases, the attorney service fee is deducted strictly based on the private terms agreed with between the claimant and their legal representatives. The Commissioner revealed that no compensation was or has yet been paid to any attorney, pending the conclusion of a comprehensive double verification exercise by the ministry. He urged the public to disregard unverified and politically motivated narratives circulating in the media, describing them as attempts to sow distrust and derail a transparent process aimed at ensuring justice and fairness to all affected landowners. Amidst the crisis and wave of defections rocking the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Abia State, stakeholders from the 5 local government areas that make up the Abia North senatorial zone in the party have made a strong call for unity among members as a way of repositioning the party ahead of the 2027 general elections. The 5 stakeholders urged the party members to shun all forms of divisive tendencies and personal interests, but focus on moving the party forward. Addressing the audience, the state's PDP chairman, Abraham Amma, expressed confidence that the party would rise against and reaffirm the party's commitment to awarding tickets strictly to candidates who emerge through credible primaries and have the capacity to win elections. Amma, who emphasized that the days of the sentiments and impunity were over, issued a stern warning that any individuals who claims to be a PDP member but works against the party's interest would face divine consequences. The convener of the meeting and member representing Ohofia North State constituency, Mandela Obasi, said he is not leaving the PDP but would stand firm and support it until it reclaims its lost glory. He noted that his people in Abariba are renowned warriors who do not retreat in the face of adversity. Speaking earlier, the Abia North PDP chairman, Gabriel Elendu, while appreciating Mandela Obasi for hosting the meeting, said reclaiming power back in the states might not be easy, but expressed hope that with unity and cooperation, the party would return to its winning ways come 2027. Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Larry Olayenka, has cautioned the human rights lawyer, Femi Falana, SAN, against misleading his clients. Falana, during an interview on national television, argued that the Supreme Court's judgment on the Rivers State's crisis had nothing to do with who was the authentic speaker of the Rivers Assembly. Falana made the comment while analyzing the issues surrounding the defection of the 27 members of the House of Assembly as determined by the Supreme Court. Responding, Olayenka, in a statement in Abuja on Monday, said it was based on the Supreme Court's judgment that Justice Emmanuel Obile of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, dismissed the suit filed by the Labour Party against the alleged detection. He pointed out that the Justice Obike dismissed the suit on ground that the Supreme Court's ruling had finalized the issue of defection. The spokesman also faulted Falana's arguments that only those who have handled cases in trial courts of appellate court are lawyers. Olayenka, who also described Falana's positions that a lawyer must have handled cases in trial or appellate courts to be qualified for appointment as a live bencher, as funny and ridiculous. He explained that Wike got his membership of the body of benchers on merit, having contributed immensely to the advancement of legal education. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has pledged to continue to devote his life to the promotion of peace and service to humanity in the country and across. Jonathan, who spoke in Abuja at the reception organized by a group of his friends of the Peace Prize Award in Seoul, South Korea, said it has always been his desire to impact lives and promote peace in his place. Jonathan said that though he suffered while growing up as a child because of his humble background, he always felt sad seeing people suffering or seeing a country going through crisis. Jonathan appreciated the organizers of the Sonhan Global Peace Prize Awards for counting him worthy, saying he never expected it, while thanking the organizers of the reception for the great honor. The 2023 presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, said that Nigeria would continue to celebrate Jonathan for the sacrifices he had made to make the country peaceful. Obi, who was the chairman of the occasion, said everybody knew what Jonathan represented and the hope he had brought to Nigeria's democracy. The chief host of the occasion, Azibola Roberts, said that the friends of Jonathan found it worthy to celebrate him for the global recognition, describing him as someone who has a strong passion for peace. Still to come, Lagos building collapse, death toll rises to 7. Can mourns Pope Francis, sympathizes with Catholic Church. Do stay with us. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, on Monday said that deaths toll from the rubble of a three-story building that collapsed at Ojodibega area of Lagos has risen to 7. The permanent secretary of the agency, Dr. Olufemi Oke Osanyintolu, confirmed this in a statement in Lagos. Oke Osanyintolu added that the total number of people rescued had increased to 13. It was earlier reported that the incident happened around 9:45 a.m. on Saturday. Following distress alerts, LASEMA activated the emergency response plans from Command and Control Center Alausa and Onipanu. Upon arrival at the incident scene by 9:52 hours, it was discovered that a three-story building housing a restaurant and bar had collapsed, with several victims trapped under the debris by the aforementioned location. Meanwhile, the police command in Bauchi State has confirmed a tragic industrial accident which claimed the lives of 4 workers at the Gubi water treatment plant in Bauchi. The spokesman of the command, Ahmed Wakili, confirmed the incident to newsmen on Sunday in Bauchi. He said the incident occurred during a large cleaning operation inside the plant's tunnels. Wakili listed the victims as Shaibu Hamza, 48, Abdul Malik Yahya, 29, Jamilu Inusa, 29, and Ibrahim Musa, 42. They were all residents of Firo village in Ganjua local government area of the state. Wakili said the workers had all entered a clarifier to dislodge peat pipes when the incident occurred. He urged the management and workers across the sector to adhere strictly to established safety protocols. Wakili said the Commissioner of Police, Sani Omolori Aliyu, extended condolences on behalf of the command to victims and families, colleagues, and management of the plant. A new terrorist group known as Mahmuda is set to be occupying some parts of the Kwara North Senatorial District and Niger states and launching attacks in the area. The Emir of Yashikira in Baruten local government area of Kwara State, Omoru Sheriki, who raised the alarm, alleged that concerned authorities have abandoned communities and left them at the mercy of the invaders. Sheriki lamented that the situation has left the people totally demoralized with a situation which has left them with no choice but to defend themselves. The attacks, he said, are not only in Baruten and Kayama village or local government areas of Kwara State, but also Borgu Kingdom in Niger State. The Kwara State Police Command last week refuted an alleged emergence named Mahmuda within Kayama and Baruten local government areas of the state. Spokesperson of the command, Adetun Ejiri Adeyemi, said a comprehensive and continuous threat assessment and intelligence surveillance have yielded no evidence of insurgent activity in the areas, disputing the claim that 15 vigilantes were killed by the invaders. Meanwhile, Christians in Plateau State on Monday staged a peace walk in protest against the incessant killings ravaging communities in the state. The peace walk, under the joint leadership of the Church Denominational Leaders Forum and the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN Plateau State chapter, was also a tribute to the victims and a cry for justice. The participants, men, women, the elderly, and youths, marched through the streets to register their anguish and frustration over the rising insecurity in the North Central region. According to the organizers, the protest was a direct response to the continuous and bloody assaults on Plateau communities, especially those killed in recent attacks on Rui, Harti, and Zike in Bokus, Bassa local government areas. Plateau and neighboring Benue states have been gripped by a fresh wave of violence in recent weeks, largely blamed on bandits. The April 2025 attack in Bokos and Bassa claimed over 100 lives, marking one of the deadliest incidents since the Christmas Eve massacre in 2023, which left about 150 people dead in Bokos alone. Meanwhile, the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has joined Catholics and Christians as well as other world leaders to pay tributes to Pope Francis over his passing. In the statement, President Tinubu described the pontiff as a humble servant of God and a tireless champion of the poor who has left behind a legacy of compassion and bridge building across faiths. Tinubu, who described the death of the Pope as symbolic, urged Nigerians and the global community to honor the Pope not just in words, but through acts of mercy, justice, and unity. He noted that Pope Francis served the Church and the master of the Church until the end, having stepped onto the global stage in 2013 with a message of mercy, urging all to see the face of Christ in the marginalized, the refugees, the migrants, and the forgotten. The Pope, according to him, was an instrument of peace who deeply embodied the message of Christ, love for God and love for humanity, and advocates for the developing world, where he consistently spoke against economic injustice and ceaselessly prayed for peace and stability in troubled regions. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has expressed deep sorrow over the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis, describing him as a towering spiritual leader and a tireless advocate for global peace, compassion, and human dignity. In a condolence message issued through his special advisor on media and publicity, Speaker Abbas extended heartfelt sympathies to the Catholic Church, the global Christian community, and the Holy See. He stated that Pope Francis devoted his life to the service of God and humanity, using his papacy to preach divides, uplift the poor, and call the world to a higher moral consciousness. The speaker noted that even in his appearance during the Easter Mass at the Vatican, the Pope continued an end to conflict across the globe, a defining feature of pontificate. The Christian Association of Nigeria can has sympathy, Catholic Church, boundless compassion. CAN President Archbishop Daniel Oko said this in a statement in Abuja on Monday. The CAN president noted that although Pope Francis never visited Nigeria, his pastoral journeys across Africa conveyed powerful messages of solidarity. Pope Francis, the 266th pontiff of the Catholic Church and the firstborn or first from Latin America, passed away on Easter Monday, April 21st, at the age of 88 in his Vatican residence, Casa Santa Marta. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo says His Holiness Pope Francis was a globally respected icon of faith, humility, and compassion. Soludo, in a condolence message issued on Monday by his press secretary Tristan Aborme, described Pope Francis as a shepherd whose legacy transcended borders. His condolences to the Catholic Church in Anambra, Nigeria, and the global Christian community. Is that the loss of Pope Francis had indeed grieved the hearts of Catholics and all humanity. The governor prayed for the repose of the soul of Pope Francis. Catholics in Nigeria expressed sorrow and hope for a peaceful transition on Monday following the death of Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church. The Vatican announced